Alright, this is a, tutorial, or not tutorial, critique for Melanie Blighe from Facebook's Level Up. So, the first and foremost thing that I would have to say right off the bat is that you want to get your proportions down a little bit better, especially in the faces. The face itself is a decent proportion, however, the size needs to be adjusted. And I know this is more of kind of the character style, but if you, as per conversation, want to do a little bit more concept art, you need to get a lot more realistic proportions going on. So in this case, what you would probably be looking at is not that small, something along the lines of this. And then so that's something that I would say right off the bat is get the proportions down a little bit more. And then again, I would probably tell you to take the hair and bring the hair down. So just kind of really quickly roughing this. Something like so. And then just cleaning up the rest. The thing I would say right off the bat is if you're going to kind of sell this piece as a figure, I would say I would add more, a little bit more interest to it. So you've got your clip and stuff like that, and I'm just gonna kind of really quickly rough over this. Oops. So let's just kind of build in this aspect here, and we're just gonna cover. All right, so like so. All right, so the thing I would say is you want, again, more humanistic proportions, less line work. You want to get more detailed oriented, um, proportions, more realism and things like that. So I would slowly get rid of the line work. I would, like you've got right now, you've got this going in the background, so you want to add a little bit more of shadow in there. Let's add some of that purple in there. So you want to add more shadow from the back so that it looks like it's going from back to front. You also want to add shadow in on the bottom here of the fur that's bouncing some of this light here into the fur. So things like that would give it more depth as well. Even in the shadows, give it an overlying blue hue from the color of the background too. So those are things that you want to do. Kind of push in the darker tones a little bit more of the environment. And things like that. Less line work. Also, and this is something I noticed just from your portrait on your thumbnail on Facebook. We have a tendency, and I do it too, is we use ourselves as facial reference. So the problem with that is when doing so, you tend to look like your characters. It's something that I've noticed from a lot of different artists. So I would say grab some reference of other characters. Um, I would say, especially if you're going more the warrior woman, I would add in a little bit more sunken cheeks, um, that type of thing to get the darker values to go on. A little bit darker values under the nose to push that out, that type of thing. And you don't do, like right now you've got the dark, like if you look at your color palette, so you've got the dark from the red, the base color, and then the light. So basically you're using the right scale, but don't be afraid to even go darker. So go a little bit more saturated, add in those colors, um, the way things are bouncing against the armor. You want to add in, get rid of this line work and start adding in that feeling that this line work is essentially, your darks of, let's see here, put some red in there. You want to get rid of the line work, and so you want to create more of a value system than the line work itself. So those are things that I would tell you to go with. Um, and then as far as character creation goes, even though this is just a portrait, you really want to get a better lighting source. Like even though this is that kind of overdraft skylight, what you want to do is add in a little bit more of the let's see here, we'll just add in some more of these colors here and a little bit brighter, and then just kind of start playing with the highlights on the nose, and get more of that value in there than the line work itself. Um, but as far as character development goes, you also want to really have more um, style with the character. Having the band across the head like you do here. This band, it's great and all, but you want to maintain consistency of that character. So what I would do instead is I would add in kind of this darker blue band that unifies with other parts of her thing, because she's really got the same color scheme going on, this color here to this color to this color, and the gold and so forth. So I would match this as a gold, and keep the colors more unified, and then just kind of keep adding in your band there. She's kind of got weird eyes too, and what I'm saying by that is one eye is looking up and over, um, and this is where I see this eye. This eye is kind of looking over this way, or more this way here. And this guy eye is kind of doing that too, but because you've got so much white space over here, it seems to get a kind of this lazy eye thing going along. So what I would say is I would um, clean up the eyes, make these a little bit bigger, and we'll get some of that dark in there. And then add in some of the pinks. Again, make this a little bit bigger. Get my blacks in there. And if you can hear the popping in the background, it's not a bad neighborhood. It's just fireworks. So you want to organize the eye a little bit better and kind of unify them a little bit more too. This one's very high up, and you want to kind of maintain the same kind of height along that aspect. Again, I would add in more depth of her as a character. I would say, give her a scar. If she's a battle warrior, give her a little bit of a scar. You can add in some purples, um, some darker purples and stuff like that. And that's going to give her a little bit more character, if that's what you're going for, as a warrior style thing. Start adding some texture too into, like the armor here. If the armor is leather, you want to add a little bit of crackles, that type of thing. Generally like a chalk brush with a wider, and let's go to shape dynamics and just kind of add a little bit of a texture. I mean, it's not much, but just by doing so, it gives me more of that leather feel, and then you can kind of pop that up and things like that. Also, layer things too. You've got the neck come down here, so give the darker aspects of the neck coming down, but you have no forward. It's all straight plain stuff. So you really want to add in, what I would do is, so you get a little bit of lighting on this side, get a little bit more stronger lighting on here, over here, and you can see the face start getting a lot more dimensional and starting to pop out. So even on the hair here, you want that dimension, dark side, light side type of thing going on. And that's going to add in quite a bit more facial features and stuff like that, more body into the initial image. The background hair, it wouldn't be as bright. It would pick up some of the background colors. So that's, pushing it in the background, and then more highlights on the foreground too, and more contrast too. So those are things that I would kind of really play with. And then I've always found like the portrait, like the dead center portrait, to be kind of blasé. What I would do is I would just crop it like this, and just something as simple like that. Now she's looking off screen, or you can, even do it the other way, where this side over here is kind of so like that, and that gives a lot more interest, I think, than just a typical, straight up portrait. The other thing too is watch your tangents. Um, your your stuff right here on the bottom just peters out, and it becomes a tangent with, if you look at this, this is a tangent here on an edge tangent, and same thing with this here is an edge tangent. So I would almost push that up to get more of her torso in, or cut it off so you see less of this. So those are things that I would say, to start doing. Also, background, watch out. You want to really add in, if you're going to add in mountains, make them look like mountains. Get some reference and work off of reference. So those are things that I would say right off the bat to kind of work with, because those are going to, take you from a cartoony to a lot more realistic style. All right, I hope that helps.